Well, welcome. I'm just going to do a couple quick introductions and pass it to my colleague Lynn as well, maybe talk about Welcome Week as well as anything from ASG. But my name is James Kniblick. I am the Director of Development for the College of the Canyons Foundation. It is my pleasure to be able to work with many of our donors and board members and community members in support of you, our students, and the College of the Canyons. So we have a very generous and warm community that for over 30 years has surrounded this college from a nonprofit foundation perspective. And I'm just very proud to be able to be a part of that and to support our board members. So today we actually have two board members, volunteers that have been serving our foundation, our nonprofit for a long time, and they are mentors. They are mentors, part of the Alumni Network Mentorship Program. And these two individuals are Peggy Canestrasi and Charlene Duzick. Both individuals have served as mentors this last semester, but honestly, knowing them personally, they do this on a daily basis for their entire lives. They give back, they invest in other people, they love to support College of the Canyons students. And these are just two individuals that are taking part in our mentorship program, and you're going to hear from them both today. We also have Jamal Yarbrough and Jeanette Morales, both students, both ASG officers who were mentees this last semester in the COC Alumni Network mentorship program. So you're going to be hearing from them as well. Before we hand it over to Charlene, who is co-chair of the COC Alumni Network, and Peggy, who is a member of that committee as well, I'm going to hand it over to Lynn just to say a few words on behalf of ASG, and maybe Lynn, you want to give a couple plugs about the amazing things that are happening this week at Welcome Week as well. But after Lynn, Charlene, it'll be yours, and take it over. And I really look forward to enjoying this next few minutes of this presentation.
Oh, James, thanks for the opportunity. I wasn't expecting you to give me some of your precious time for your presentation, but welcome everyone to Welcome Week. We hope that the sessions that we have prepared for you throughout the week is helpful for you. If you attend the event, all of you are eligible to get a Fandango Now code for $6. That's redeemable at fandangonow.com. And also, if you attend at least 5 sessions, then we can mail you a COC t-shirt. So more information on that is on our website, canyons.edu/welcome week 2021. So make sure to check out that website. But yeah, I'm going to hand it back over to James because I think there's a lot of information to be covered.
Great, thank you. Well, last thing I'll share before handing over to Charlene is that, and this is one slide I meant to mention, they're going to go over the importance of mentorship, why it's important to them as individuals in their lives, and why you should be looking for a mentor or being a mentor. Because I think we have both people on calls today, people that maybe would like to be a mentor and people that would like to find a mentor, or what we call a mentee. But this is how you get started. So this is the takeaway. Screenshot it, write it down, whatever you need to do, but visit cocfoundation.com/mentorship. And there is a very simple form. It really should only take you 5 or 10 minutes. It's just a handful of questions. My advice to you from already receiving many of these responses is that take a little bit of time to do this. It's going to ask you some questions. Yes, you can reply with one sentence, but give it a little bit of thought of what you're looking for, what your interests are, and that will help us be able to match you either with a mentee or a mentor. So that's my little plug to get started from a technical side, but I look forward to everything that Charlene, Peggy, Jamal, and Jeanette have to share today. So Charlene, go ahead and take it away.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us today. It's very exciting to be here and also provide an opportunity like this. The Alumni Network has been actually around for quite some time. And just to kind of give you an idea of where all this ideology fostered from is we got together our committee and we were talking about ways and opportunities that we could stay engaged and really support the college. And the consistent message amongst all of our team was that we wanted to share the experiences that we had going through the community college system, going through the university system, as well as transitioning into the workforce, because along the way, there's always people that help stimulate you, help showcase your abilities, make you think a little bit outside the box. And also the other thing is that we're all human and we all trip and fall as we go through our pathway. And so our alumni committee, you will see actually a lot more of opportunities, whether it be through our mentorship program that we've put together. The bottom pop-up, feel free to ask questions. Or our webinar series, because we're really trying to bring back folks from different areas of expertise to engage and answer questions, because obviously there's a plethora of focuses out there that people go in their career pathing. So I figured I'd kick off this morning a little bit with a few quotes, because I think it rings very true and near. And both of them I pulled actually from Oprah Winfrey, because I love them. So the mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside you. And then the second one is nobody makes it alone. Nobody has made it alone. And we are all mentors to people, even when we don't know it. And I find that very true, because on my own pathway, I can tell you that there are probably about, I would right off the top of my head say 3 or 4 people that have resonated with me, but even more that have taught me lessons along the way, and I would consider them a mentor going from that. With today, our focus is really on that mentor-mentee relationship in the program is what we're focused on. So from a mentor perspective, you know, the idea and end in mind that I myself, and I think every person has just a little bit of twist on that, is really to provide you some insight on some areas of opportunity that are near and closer to you that you'll come into contact with. So when Jeanette and I sat down, you know, number one was to start off of what are you good at? What are your strengths? Do you know what those are? Can we identify what those are? What are some areas of opportunity that you can improve on? And I was going to have her do an assessment called Strength Finders. Funny enough, Jeanette had already done it. And not only had she gone through the motion of going through that program, but we talked a little bit about what career she wanted to go into. Why did she want to go into that? What steps had she taken to foster that pathway and those connections with that? And on top of that, what are some things that I could do right now to help support her and move forward? Jeanette, you can actually chime in a little bit too on that experience. I know we are going back and forth, but it really is helpful to see it from the student on one side and the mentor on the other side. So I want to turn that over to Jeanette in terms of what we, our dialogue and what we had discussed and went through. Jeanette, are you there?
Hi everyone, my name is Jeanette Mireles. I'm a second year bio major here at COC. And yeah, so just meeting with Charlene, we actually went, you know, like got in depth of all like what I want to do in life. And she really helped me, you know, like recreate my resume and make it the best we could, along with my cover letter. And, you know, just like a quick background story about myself. I attended UC Davis for my first year of college. And I was originally majoring in animal science because at the time I thought I wanted to be a vet. But at the end of that school year, I actually got a job at an animal hospital as a doctor's assistant, and working there just made me realize that it wasn't the ideal job I wanted. And so I decided to, you know, go a different route and, you know, pursue my second dream job, which is, you know, go to dental school and become an orthodontist. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because, you know, we we like need someone to guide us to obtain like a certain job or internship related to the career paths we want to do in our future. And having someone mentor us to those career field like opportunities like jobs and internships, it's always great to have. And I know that from experience, like searching jobs and internships online is always very confusing and sometimes sketchy. And so when I heard about this mentorship program at COC, I like instantly signed up because, just having someone who's well experienced with jobs and all that. Like I know Charlene like interviews people for the like jobs, and she just gave me like a lot of tips on that. And yeah, so like I strongly feel like everybody needs a mentor, especially if they're like confused about what career path they want to go.
When we sat down, we talked about why she wanted to do it. Had she put together her resume, and she goes, well, I'm still kind of in the midst of, getting some experience. And so we talked about what she did on campus, what those roles were. We pulled up job descriptions in the field of her area of interest and started to correlate them with her on-campus experience, but not only her on-campus experience, prior, like what you were referencing to, like the animal hospital, as well as a job in retail. So we pulled those and compared them, and also compared the job description and started taking the alignment and excerpts so that we could make her resume reflect her real experience. And even more phenomenal is, I mentioned that we are a mentor to other people even when we don't know it. Jeanette turned around and she goes, oh, let me help you. So she turned around and took that experience and applied that to someone else, right, Jeanette?
Yeah, people actually came to me asking me like, oh, can you help me build my resume?
Yeah, and there's a lot of pointers that people don't know about the human resource side of things, on how they search or go through hundreds and hundreds of applicants. So that was a really phenomenal aspect of this. The other thing is with mentors is we all come from, Miss Peggy comes from the educational side, so she really is resourceful when it comes to pathing your way through the colleges and the university systems, and also even in the workforce. And on the side where I come from, because I'm very more community oriented, on a local level, is who are some of those resources that I could send Jeanette's resume to. So I started calling around. We haven't gotten anywhere just yet, but I got to do follow-up calls because everybody's so busy trying to navigate this whole, COVID aspect in their lives. But it is nice when you have folks that have connections to the industries that you are looking for. And even if you, like where she wants to go, I work for Henry Mayo Fitness and Health, which is a fitness center steered by the hospital. So I'm not necessarily in like the dental field or dental hygiene, but am I quite familiar with a lot of the local dentists and orthodontists? Absolutely. Have we used them for sponsorship opportunities within the foundation or other nonprofits? Absolutely. So I was like, just send it to me. We're going to start sending it out, and then you're going to start doing follow-up calls too as well. And so that's kind of where our mentorship experience is going, but we're still continuing on and moving forward. And anything that she has questions about is what we try to steer and support her appropriately. So, you want to add anything else, Jeanette?
That I strongly encourage everyone to get a mentor.
Perfect. Miss Peggy, do you want to take that on from here?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Charlene, you have a wealth of knowledge and a breadth that's unbelievable. But I do think that every single person that puts themselves forward to be a mentor has done this before. And it's so individualized. You don't know what a person needs. It could be something simple or, or something really broad, or you'd have no idea where you're headed. And if you want to go on to, transfer or what you're interested in, because you get such a wide variety of things at College of the Canyons that it's hard to choose. You start seeing several things you're interested in, and finding that pathway takes time, takes some experience, and resume building is absolutely part of it all along the way. You want to show that you have had a variety of experiences or in the workplace or in internships. Even if you're not sure that you're interested in it, it shows that you're out there seeking the path. The resume, the cover letters, even building a resource for your recommendations. When you need a written recommendation from someone, if you don't have work experience or internship experience, or you don't have some connection through your family, how are you going to get that letter? Professors don't always have the time to get to know you, whereas a mentor, we are volunteering because we feel we have the time to help someone else. And so, my mentee this semester was very focused on her transfer and considering what schools to transfer to and how do I choose the school. She was going for very high level, like Ivy League type schools. So not only do you have to have the resume and the experience and, a breadth of things that they're looking for on your academic resume, I said, it's not just about you qualifying for them. It's about you knowing that you're the right fit to go there or to choose that program. And how do you do that? So we had conversations on that. She had some issues with communication. We had a hard time. She didn't really have an operating computer, and then her phone died and it was somewhere else. And I had to help, navigate getting the phone back and getting her, back online. So it can be simple things like that. You just need somebody to make some phone calls for you because you're not really sure how to go about it. So it can be very simple things. It could be complex things. It could be, I don't know where I'm going and what I'm doing. Okay. So someone that's older and been through this, and I have mentored many, many, many students. I ran a supplemental school and we worked on both, college applications, transfer requirements. I wrote many, many letters of recommendation for my young staff, which was most of them were maybe right out of college with their first degree headed for graduate work. And so how do you frame that message for the graduate work? How do you find the right school? So this is what I've done for 27 years. So, and it's all about the individual and what they need. So anyway, I love doing it. I love getting to know people, and I love seeing the light bulb come on and them finding their path. So that's a joy to me.
Jamal, do you want to share your experience as a mentee?
Of course. I mean, I'm so glad that I get to share my experience because the experience that I've had at COC in general has just been amazing. I really think that COC is one of the community colleges that should be like one of those four-year community colleges, because just the amount of resources that are available to students and the things that COC offers is amazing. And with the mentorship program, I've had university students say to me personally that they wish that they had a mentor or somebody to kind of show them the way that they should go about community college and transferring and things like that. I I love the mentorship program because I was able to be partnered with the lead engineer for Lockheed Martin for Skunk Works. His name is William Harwood, and he's just been amazing. He's been showing me so many things that will benefit me on my transfer application and just how to navigate through community college and what's important and how to be involved in the community and how to really pinpoint what it is that you like about your major and where you want to go in life. And meeting William has just changed everything about my college experience. I'm now part of the NASA club. on campus because of him. I'm more involved in my commitment to ASG because of him. I'm focused so much more on my educational goals because of him, because I know what I want. He actually, he went to one of the universities that I've been looking at, which is Georgia Tech. And who better to get a reference letter from for Georgia Tech than somebody from Georgia Tech? And so these type of things are important. And to have a mentor is like a privilege that, you know, not a lot of community college students have. So to have that, you know, plethora of mentors that the COC Foundation offers and not utilize it it would be a huge blunder. I mean, just like Charlene was saying, and like Peggy was saying, they have all of this wealth of information and how to navigate through school and how to make things more easy and more practical for students, and they're just so eager to give it out. Like Charlene is like, thank you so much, Charlene. Charlene has done so much for me. She's just been working with me over the winter break and before that, and she just has an amazing energy. And she's not even my actual mentor. She's Jeanette's mentor, but she still steps outside of that area to still help me. So when you become a part of like mentorships and things that get you involved in the campus, you never know what type of serendipity lies in those resources. And I've been able to meet like one of the best people that I think I've met in a long time with Charlene and James Kniblick and just William. I mean, he's like, you probably never get to talk to the lead engineer anywhere. So to be able to have him as my mentor and to call upon him and him not be too busy for me and actually tell me about my dream job personally, it's phenomenal. And I just really hope that more people get into what COC is offering through the Mentorship Foundation. And I can't say enough about it. So thank you for letting me share my experience, and thank you for letting me be a part of such an amazing opportunity.
Perfect. Well, and to also touch on it, one of the things that I think is important is why we also do give back a lot of the mentors. And you'll probably find Jamal and Jeanette going out there and helping assist and provide a mentorship too down the line here because of their experiences. But as I mentioned earlier, there are things in life that you get feedback along the way that help guide you, help you be a better communicator, a better team player, be more reflective. And just to share, you know, some of those I mentioned earlier, like there's 3 people that come to mind in my own life that have provided guidance. I did have a boss that worked at the YMCA, and one of the things that we don't think about is having someone that coaches you through emotional intelligence. And to give you a little bit of concept of what that is like when you're struggling with something, when you're trying to figure out how do you work and deliver difficult information, or you get upset and you're offended, how do you manage those pieces? And my particular instance, I always like to bring it up because this is definitely where a mentor steps in and guides you is, you know, when I was dealing with a difficult person and I came in and I said, well, obviously I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to navigate through this conversation, so can you help me? And one of the things that she did, and I think that this is phenomenal in any type of mentorship concept, is asking questions. Don't telling someone exactly what to do. And she was like, did you make this situation better? Do you think that you took offense to something that you didn't need to take offense to? Do you think that she really meant this? And so we provide not only, you know, the hands-on support in terms of resume building, interviewing skills, communication, but even when you're looking at where do I start? You know, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? How can I be a servant leader? How can I navigate through the educational system and prep myself for scholarships? is another area. There are so many beautiful and awesome resources on our campus at College of the Canyons that so many of our students, and not even our students, but our community members don't know about. And so we definitely want to help guide and navigate that pathway and those resources. I did see a couple of questions that come up, so I just want to elaborate a little bit on them. So some folks are asking on how they can get involved in the mentorship program. I am dropping in my email that you can email me. And the only reason I'm referencing to that is I do know we are so sad, and it's going to be such an absence here, but James and his family will be moving to Florida, and he's taking on a new role. So we want to make sure that we maintain that fluid communication with you guys. So if you can email me, and then number one way is we would love you to go on the 360 platform that I just referenced to. And that platform has that I'd like to be a mentor or a mentee. Is everyone, I'm just going to do a quick little chatterfall. Is everyone familiar with the platform that I'm referencing to? You can just drop in a yes or a no in the chat box real quick, because it gives me an idea. Okay. So let me get that link, because it sounds like a lot of people. Carly, I think you're still on the line. Do you think you can grab that really quick so we can drop that in there for everyone? What is the question, Jess? What it is we have oh, you are awesome, thank you. So if you click on that link, it will take you to an info sheet, which actually is housed in our database, and we can send you out information when we are kicking off the second round of our mentee mentor program. And so that's going to be one of the best resources. But if you're confused or if you have supplemental questions, you can definitely email me directly. I want to heavily encourage you to go to the link, because what our 360 platform is it is connected to our alumni organization. And our alumni organization is really taking steadfast measures to connect with internship opportunities, connect you to people that are in your area of expertise that you're pursuing in your career path, as well as just even random questions going on within the foundation too. We also have an area that you can create your own little groups on specific topics or organizations within the college. There's also a fundraising component if you're a part of clubs and organizations and need that opportunity to house that somewhere, which we'll be going around and getting everyone acquainted with that. But again, I definitely would heavily encourage you to do that. Just as far as questions that come up, I just wanted to just go through the chat really quick, because I did see that folks dropped their email in there. How do people get into the program if you already wrote from a transfer student to another university? You can still contact us through that mentor-mentee program area, and we can get that information to you. Before I transition or keep going on in regards to that, I want each of our panelists to share too a little bit about their own, trips, falls, struggles, and where that having that mentor-mentee relationship has been helpful. And I'm going to actually kick that off too with Peggy as well, some of the things that she learned and why she can turn around and provide that support to our student population.
Well, I have been mentoring students and community college people who are transferring, and four-year college students that are transferring, and acting as somewhat of a mentor or counselor type of person for, like I said, 27 years. I was a returning student to College of the Canyons, and I know how I felt at the time, where I was trying to reinvent myself and I didn't really know what direction I was going. So someone told me, take the fastest course to the first degree to get yourself to the next step. And don't take classes that are not going to count for that transfer, because everybody's in the same boat. And it's not until you try and step out into maybe more advanced classes at the university level that you start to hone in on what your path is going to be. So you don't have to figure it out now, but you don't want to waste time either. So, I think the biggest impact I think I've had is being able to learn about the people that I'm mentoring and being able to convey that in a letter of recommendation. Not all schools want letters of recommendation, but they're very powerful. And talking about your experience from not just you saying it, but somebody else saying it carries a lot of weight. And it carries weight and changes your path, even if you are going for placement into a job after your community college experience. Not everybody goes into a four-year school. Not everybody goes to an Ivy League school. But having somebody on the outside that knows you well enough to put in writing what your strengths and weaknesses are, rather than you telling them, because how do you get the door to open to you? That's probably the most difficult thing to do. All of these other things that Charlene spoke about are the pathway, but you don't do it without relationships. So choosing a mentor, maybe having a couple mentors, maybe doing this program more than once, even if it's something as simple as I'm probably having problems communicating with, a department, or this young woman who had, she had English was her second language, and she was having problems getting her needs met. So being able to explain that to somebody and have them say, "Oh, I know where we can go to get that done. Let me help you." So it can be a wide range of things that you don't want to count on just your family members to be able to give you that advice. You want to have a boss that gives you that advice, or a counselor, or a mentor. And I would say do all of them until you find the right fit.
Mhm.
So I was in your shoes. I had to reinvent myself, and College of the Canyons played a huge role in that. I also have 3 children, and I love College of the Canyons, and every one of my children went to College of the Canyons, even the one that chose to go directly to a 4-year school, and they've all had experiences with what the college has to offer that is right in our own backyard. So I actually knew the president of the elected board, and she was a friend, but I didn't know that that's what she did. And I said, I just owe College of the Canyons just this huge debt of gratitude. I would not be where I am today. I never would have been able to start my company. I never would have had the connections I needed without this place. And the next thing I knew, I was in speaking to the chancellor, because I said, "What do you need me to do? Here's 2 hands, use them." And that was 20 some years ago. So I've been doing this and trying to give back, not just to the students, but to the community for the needs, by raising money with the foundation and participating in the programs. And, volunteering can take a lot of time with certain organizations, or it can be very well organized, like at the College of the Canyons, where they just know what they're doing and they get you in there so that you can do what makes a difference. And passing it forward, I think when you have people who pour into you, you're going to be willing to pour into other people. You're going to come back maybe to this community and become a part of this amazing thing that is happening at the college. Not because it's prestigious, and everyone goes on and their alumni their alumni experiences sometimes with their 4-year college or their university or their law school or whatever. But really, when you look back, the place that made the biggest difference, at least for me, was College of the Canyons. So that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
A whole lot of us.
And again, you as students, there are so many amazing resources that are on campus. You've got Peggy. I know that there are a lot of individuals that see that not only do you have mentorships that are available through the alumni organization or the alumni network, but you also have them available on campus, right?
Mhm.
Because we have our financial aid department. We've got, obviously, a lot of you are involved in the associative student government. You've got your civic engagement groups. There are a plethora of resources. So I just, would love also for Jeanette and Jamal just to touch a little bit on those additional resources that they have found support and guidance through in their experiences on campus. So Jeanette, you want to elaborate a little bit?
So just being a part of ASG has helped me, build leadership, and just I'm a part of like a very large organization here at COC where my my opinions matter. I have like very important people of COC actually listen to like what I have to say, and just like being able to be the social student involvement coordinator for ASG has just like been the best experience. I always like to encourage just students to join clubs and join anything that they can to build their leadership, especially being like clubs at school. It's always important, and it always helps out. Like, for instance, I actually heard about the mentorship through ASG, and I know that my advisor also, like, she gives me a lot of like tips, and like she encourages me to like apply to schools, and like just like having that, because especially right now during this time we don't actually like communicate with people because we're not in school. So being a part of ASG actually just helped me like just feel like I'm still connected to COC.
Jamal?
Yes,
Can you
yes.
hear me? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm always struggling trying to click the unmute. I'm like, come on, mouse work. But anyway, yeah, for me, I've always watched motivational speakers. That's my go-to when I'm feeling down or feeling out. And I've been in a lot of jobs in the past that I didn't want to be in. I knew that I had potential. I just didn't know how I wanted to access it. But when I finally did get into college, which was my ultimate goal, I mean, I knew that I was in the right place, but I didn't really know how to go about college until my best friend really explained to me how he did it, and because he was doing it like on another league of students. He was getting involved in the college culture, in the campus, in the clubs, and the activities, like Jeanette said. And I didn't think that I would have time for clubs, and I didn't think that I would have time to get involved in these different areas of college because of how strenuous some studying may be. But I did, and it ended up working out. And now I'm a part of the EOPS program. I'm a part of the ASG student government. I'm a part of the COC Foundation mentorship program. I'm a part of the math club. I'm a part of the NASA club, and I'm doing all of these things, and have a really good GPA. But it doesn't take away from the student. It actually gives you so much more than you actually would ever even think. Like I said, I feel like I'm friends with Charlene Duzick and James Kniblick. I mean, these people are amazing, super deeply involved in the community, and I have like so much. I feel like I have a support system that's like this unshaking. I know that I can depend on these people. Charlene has actually, and James, and Joanna from ASG, and Lynn, they have all personally been right there for me, doing things that I personally have asked them for when I asked them for help. So getting involved in the college culture has actually really, really, really just made my college experience so much more better than I ever thought it could be. And I feel like when I go into my career and when I go, into my next level of university and things like that, I actually have people that I'm friends with that I can depend on to actually continue to guide me, and I can continue to help them. And like one of my favorite motivational speakers said, Bob Proctor, he said that you can never give anything away because it just keeps coming back to you, So the more you give, the more you get, and the more you get involved with the community and with the clubs and with the resources, you're giving so much more back to yourself, and you're giving so much more to everybody else. And I mean, I wouldn't trade my experience for being on ASG and involved in a mentorship for the world, because it has really, really changed things for me. And like I said, I could talk all day about how great you guys are. Charlene, I mean, for sure, like, I really appreciate you. So thank you all for just letting me be a part of such an amazing opportunity. It's awesome. I encourage all students to really get involved, not just in the mentorship program, but in all of college culture, and really like extend yourself. You're going to get some good things from it. Thank you.
Well, coming up, because Jamal is continuing on passing on that opportunity and connecting you with so many other folks from our alumni organization to try to get you in touch with someone that is in your field of expertise. But even if they're not, I heavily encourage you to jump on. ASG is hosting what, Jamal? We have coming up in March.
Be hosting for the second semester in a row the Telling Their Stories, Striving for Excellence alumni event. And it's where we have people from the students who have graduated from COC and actually made it in the career field that they chose. Last semester, we had a film director come out and speak to us. We had William Harwood from Lockheed Martin come out. We had a doctor come out from Kaiser Permanente. And these are people who have graduated from COC. And they come out and just tell you how they did their journey and tell you how great COC is, and really get you involved in what it is you want to do with your future. It's a great event. I encourage everybody to come to it. We're looking at some great alumni from COC to come out and speak from just various fields. We got a lot of good things in mind, so you guys don't want to miss it. I mean, it's really incredible to see people from your school who have made it in the field that you want, and they're in these positions that we dream about. So yeah, don't miss it. And Charlene has been there again for me for that event, and she and James and Joanna and Lynn helped me make it everything that I wanted it to be. It's incredible. I can't even believe it. So thank you.
Well, it was a fantastic event, and again, we tried to we keep your eye out for this event as well as future webinar series, because our webinar series are focused on connecting you with alumni in those areas of opportunity that you might be searching for. And again, even if they are not in the field that you're interested in, just like Miss Peggy had mentioned, is that we can provide guidance in different ways. We've all had different experiences going through the educational system onto our career paths. And thank you for dropping in. Please, please, please register online if you'd like to be a mentor or a mentee, so that we can connect you along the way. And before I do end this opportunity, I wanted to give just one more chance if anyone had any questions. I'll give you like a few minutes to drop them in there. Event information for Jamal. Jamal will be sending that out through the Associated Student Government as well as through civic engagement, and it will go out as a blast for everyone. I believe we are looking around the last week of March. I think, was it around the 25th or somewhere around there, I think. Yes. I don't know if we solidified that because
there's not an actual official date yet, but it's looking like towards the end of March, around March 19th or April 2nd, in between that time frame. But it's definitely being worked on and looking pretty good. So, and we'll definitely get it out to everybody.
For sure.
Just to answer Shabaz's question about how they'll get information, either the foundation is really good about sending out information on the events that they're doing. And since it is a partnership, it will go on your student email as well. So keep your eyes peeled. It's on ASG Instagram as well. So we try our best to make sure that the events are advertised a lot, like to the point where we bother you. So it'll somehow get to your email. So don't worry about the information not being out there, but the event just has to be finalized and approved by the ASG first before we can send all that information out.
And with all of our alumni committee too, we are in the midst of putting a resource page out there that will go to each of the departments so that you are aware of who our alumni committee are. As I mentioned, Peggy, myself, Amanda Benson, there's quite a few of them, William Harwood. There's a group of us that are really trying to steer and connect our students with mentors and also people in their field. And so keep your eyes peeled for that too as well, because that will be distributed shortly. And to close out this, I'm a quote person, so I always love to have that. There's a delicate balance of mentoring someone. It's not just you don't want to just create them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves. And with that, we are here to help you, guide you, but help you create who you are and where you want to go. So thank you all for attending today. And we definitely want to encourage you to click on the link and join us.